Welcome to Extension Connection on Super Talk 1270. Thoughtful information and discussion with experts from both Burleigh and Morton County Extension Service offices. Extension Connection provides advice on family nutrition, issues in agriculture, lawn and garden, community leadership, homeowner concerns, and so much more. Live from the Super Talk 1270 studio, this is Extension Connection.
Good morning, everybody. This is Tom Kalb. I'm an extension horticulturist. In other words, a garden guy from North Dakota State University. And here with Jim this morning, we're talking about gardening here in the Bismarck-Mandan area. And I tell you, the weather's been very, very up and down for us, Jim, right? You know, like we've been getting the rain. That's a good thing.
Well, we're getting more rain in the forecast tonight and tomorrow now, they're saying.
And getting some heat coming our way, too. That's going to be a good thing because here we are heading into the summertime, big time now, even though the days are getting shorter, Jim.
Yeah.
I heard about that. It's kind of depressing already.
Yeah, we passed the first day of summer, so technically the days are now
getting
supposed to be getting shorter.
So we better enjoy our summer while we can. And our plants are enjoying summer, except for we had some of those brutal winds a few days ago coming into our area. And if anybody's got any broken branches on their trees, we need to clean that up, make clean cuts, get all that taken care of. And this morning we're going to talk about all types of things in the garden, not just the trees, but we're going to talk about your vegetables and flowers and the fruits and lots of nice things happening right now. If anybody has any gardening questions, we welcome your garden questions. Phone number here is 663-1270. That's 663-1270. We welcome your calls. And I'm going to start off talking about some really positive things going on right now. And I think one thing you're noticing is the hottest tree in North Dakota is blooming right now. Any idea what that is, Jim? What's the hottest tree?
The hottest?
What's the fastest growing tree now in our state?
Would that be the cottonwood?
That's a great tree for us because it's a fast grower and it's still got some strong wood to it. And but the fastest growing tree is what we call the Japanese tree lilac. How about that? You've probably never even heard that. But if you look right now, if you drive, you can see some of those smaller trees that are shooting out white blossoms right now. And that is a super popular tree right now because it's super tough. It can take the worst conditions and grow well. It's especially popular on boulevards now because the tree only grows about 25 feet tall, and so you can even grow underneath power lines, and it can take the urban compacted soils and the nasty soils that we have in some parts of our state, and it just looks so nice all year round because like right now you see those white blossoms, and the white blossoms are coming on now when the other lilacs and most of our other spring, like their crab apples, they're all faded, all those flowers. So now that those white flowering Japanese tree lilacs are coming into bloom right now. And when that blooms are over in a few weeks, then we're going to have nice green glossy foliage. And even in the wintertime, it has great bark. And that's an important thing for us here in North Dakota because our growing season is so short and our winters are so long. So when we talk about home landscaping, we need to think about not just the flowers, but we need to think about how do the trees look in our long winters. And the Japanese tree lilac has some beautiful, like a copper to bronze colored bark. It's really shiny and adds a nice feature to our home landscape. So that's a great tree, and invite you to, if you're thinking about putting in a small tree in your yard, think about the Japanese tree lilac. Again, it's tough as nails. It can survive our winter, and it looks beautiful all year round. Another plant that's kind of getting a lot of attention right now are honeyberries. And the honeyberry harvest has started in our state already. And honeyberries, most people don't know what a honeyberry is, but it's kind of like a blueberry. And, we cannot grow blueberries here in North Dakota. We don't have the right soil. Blueberries demand an acid soil. And in the Bismarck-Mandan area, we just don't have that soil. We have a prairie soil. It's like neutral or even alkaline in a part of our region. And so forget about that blueberry. Don't even think about it. The blueberries are marginally hardy, and they're going to struggle in our acid soil. But on the other hand, we can grow a honeyberry, or from Canada, another name is the haskap. Haskap. Haskaps are super hardy. They're like zone 2. They can take any part of the state, the winter of any part of the state, and they thrive in our prairie soils. They're just going to they have nice white blossoms in the early spring, and right now the harvest is coming right now. It's a rich blueberry, and it grows on a shrub. A shrub's about 3 or 4 feet tall, and just absolutely delicious. And so get to know about the honeyberries. They're available at our local garden centers, or you can also order them online. There's seed catalogs that offer them online, or there's a major company called Honeyberry USA. And so if you like the taste of blueberries, I invite you to try the Haskap or the honeyberry and get 2 varieties. And Borealis is the big one. Borealis is the most popular one, and get a pollinator for it. Berry Blue is a good pollinator, and it's easy to grow, and you'll get about a couple pounds of fruit every year after the plants get established. So that's a quick introduction to what we're going to be talking about this morning. More on gardening on the way, and let's take a break now. We'll get back to you in a minute or so.
Currently, it's 66.
Our own radio station. Not Fargo, not the Twin Cities. Proud to be Bismarck and Mandan's own Super Talk 1270.
Good morning. Thank you for listening to the Extension Connection. Today, the Burleigh County staff is going to be visiting with you. My name is Ashley Stegman. I'm the Ag and Natural Resource Agent. I just got in. I was busy talking to an individual from the community. He had questions on his leaves. We get a lot of that.
A lot of gardening questions going on right now, I'll tell you.
Of course.
A lot of problems out there.
There are. And, something, I heard earlier, Tom, you were kind of talking about assessing those trees from the storm damage that we had. And we are getting a lot of calls on that, and going out and kind of assisting and helping with the decision of what do I do with that tree? Do I cut it down? Do I leave it? What are my options? So really, there are 3 categories you can think of when evaluating those trees that were damaged. You can keep it and, wait and see what happens. Okay. And then, there, of course, are the other option is, having to replace it.
So how do you decide, is that tree a keeper or not?
How do you decide? Well, you have to evaluate how much damage has actually been done to the tree. Yeah. And then think about, if it wasn't for this system, this weather that went through, was this tree healthy? Was it productive? Those are types of things. If you have a tree that's healthy and productive and lost a couple limbs, you probably are going to be able to save it. Yeah. You want to keep an eye on it, though, because then, with any open wound or any break there where a limb broke off, you might see some increase in disease or insects. And so you want to just keep an eye on that. Once there's 50% of that crown, so that upper canopy of that tree is gone or removed, then it's probably time you're going to have to start thinking about replacing it. Just because, that tree isn't going to be as productive. It's going to have a harder time coming back from, that stress that weather put on those trees. Okay. And so
that's a good guideline. If you lose more than half of the tree canopy, the tree's really under severe shock, and it might not make it back.
Yeah. So, we've had a lot of questions, and we've went and looked at a lot of trees, and, we've seen some trees that were blown over and almost laying on the ground, and you could just see some of those roots coming out of the ground. What would you say, Tom?
That's not a good thing.
That's not a good thing, no.
No, that's not going to. And you can't really push the tree back in place. Those roots were severe. Those roots, you lose at least half the root system when that happens. Yeah. And you got a major tree. It's going to, even if you could possibly crank it up a little bit, it's going to be under severe shock for many, many, many years. So usually in those cases, you're just going to get the chainsaw or call a professional. That's probably an important point too, is, you got to know your limitations, and there's professionals out there who, this is what they do for a living, and you want to be safe about this whole process. You don't want to besides losing the tree, you don't want to lose your garage or your car
or your
get
new
crashed.
car. There were some nasty limbs that were broke off from trees that ruined some people's cars and
That's
stuff.
right.
So
It's fierce.
you want to make sure when you are cutting down some of those trees, if you're doing it yourself, you're taking all the safety precautions needed with cutting down trees. And just a reminder, if you do have tree debris in Bismarck, you set that out on your curbside, and the city should be coming and picking those up for you. And so there are also some dump areas that you can bring your tree debris. I know in Mandan there's a few locations, so you just need to find those locations and dispose of those limbs. And if you let those just hang there and you don't do anything, you're gonna be really just hurting your tree, and you can actually invite, like I said, different diseases and insects into your yard, and nobody wants to see their yards infected or diseased at this point of the year.
Yep, that's right.
All right, so I just want to quickly kind of let the listeners know that we are offering our actually summer intern, Kelsey Sheldon. She is putting on a Junior Master Horseman class. And this class is a 4-day class. It's for youth ages 8 to 14. And this workshop really, it's for youth that are interested in horses. Fun horse facts that youth will learn if you attend the Junior Master Horseman session. These sessions will be held July 27th to the 30th. We'll start at 8 a.m. and it'll go until noon. It'll be at our extension building, the Joanne Hetzel Memorial 4-H building on East Bismarck Expressway. We will have a snack, so these kids are going to be making some fun activities and then also making a snack for themselves. And the last day, on the 30th, the youth will actually be going to Apple Creek Stables, and there they will actually be able to ride horses and learn kind of what to do when you're on a horse and kind of get experience being a horseman. So that's Junior Master Horseman class. It will be July 27th through the 30th. It'll be 8 till noon, and the last day will be held out at Apple Creek Stables, where the youth will be able to ride horses. Now, the class size is small because we want each youth to be able to ride a horse. So we are limiting it to 10 youth. There is a registration fee for the classes to help with all the material and the food costs with this class, and that will be $30. To register, you can call our office, Burleigh County Extension Office, at 701-221-6865 and ask for Kelsey Sheldon. She is the one putting it on and taking all the registrations. And so here's one fact that youth will learn. Did you know the first horse that roamed the earth was only 15 inches tall and had 4 toes?
And how many feet?
4
feet.
4 feet, I guess.
Would that be the Eophipus?
I don't know, Jim.
I think that's what they call it. I think.
Were you around then, Jim? Were you around there? Were you riding that horse?
Not quite.
No.
All right, so there's going to be a great amount of facts and information learned about horses. Again, Junior Master Horseman class, July 27th through the 30th, 8 till noon.
Yeah, and anybody can join, even if you never rode a horse before.
That's right.
It's
so
for any kid who wants to have a good time and learn about horses.
You don't have to have any prior experiences with horses, and this is open to all youth, 4-H or other. So all youth are encouraged to participate. Again, there is a registration fee, $30, and we would like to have our participants register by July 17th. So that's that'll be here before we know it, right?
About 3 weeks away.
Oh man, time just flies by in the summer, right?
Kelsey's really good with the horses too, so you can be sure that children will learn a lot and they'll be very safe in the class. It'll be a lot of fun for them. Kelsey works with kids all the time, so
yes,
it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and just to give a little background on Kelsey, she's been at our extension office for 3 years now. This is her third year coming back.
We won't let her go.
No, I don't want to let her go either. She's actually right now out visiting with some community members, getting some of that, answering some of those questions on trees and some of that gardening questions that we continually have. Yep. So that's been a very nice addition to our office this summer. Just kind of an update for some of you farmers out there. Right now, conditions are all great for that scab or that Fusarium head blight. We just want to make sure that you're keeping a good eye on some of those wheat and barley crops that can be affected by this. Fungicide timing is very important. Optimum time to apply recommended fungicides for scab and control of wheat is when it's early flowering. So applying the fungicide at this stage helps protect that vulnerable floweret from damage during the fertilization and early grain filling. Since not all spikes emerge at the same time, fungicides are best applied when most of the main stem and first tiller spikes, so once that grain starts to fill in, is the best time to be applying that fungicide on your wheat. May be challenging in fields of winter wheat that suffered winter injury and therefore have a lot of variability on the flowering dates. And again, because we are kind of that wet, moist weather and kind of cooler temps. I hear we should have some hot temps coming, right?
Yeah, it's going to be in the high 80s pretty soon.
All right.
All through the next week, it sounds like.
So hopefully we can wish for some warmer weather to eliminate this favorable condition for scab. But just continue to be on the lookout for that. And, Caramba or Perzero or Folicur, those are some fungicides that work very effectively on scab. And so you just want to remember to be on the lookout for that Fusarium head blight. All right. Well, with the summer fast approaching here, it was just what? This week?
Here. It's here.
The 21st was the official day of summer.
Sounds right.
All right. Well, our office is in full-fledged, 4-H Achievement Days are coming up. And so our Burleigh County 4-H Achievement Days will be July 7th through the 10th. The first evening, that's 7th, we will be having our Static Achievement Day. This is where all our 4-Hers bring in their exhibits that are in that static field and get judged. And, we have everything from horticulture, photography, welding, food and nutrition, woodworking, art and design, in any of those type of categories that youth have been working on, and they'll be judged, and this is where they're going to be judged on their project, and they will demonstrate the knowledge that they learned in that project area. That will all begin at 5:30, the 4-H judging, and then we will have games and activities for youth beginning at 6:30. Public viewing for all our 4-H exhibits will begin at 8, and then they will continue the rest of the week from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And with that, I believe we will be taking a break, and we'll be right back with the Extension Connection.
Currently, it's 66.
Get the app called Radio Pup for your iPhone and take us everywhere you go. Bismarck and Mandan's own Super Talk 1270.
Welcome back to the Extension Connection. Today you have the Burleigh County Extension staff visiting with you. My name is Ashley Stagman, Ag and Natural Resource Agent, and we also have Tom Kalb, who's in our office, who's the state horticulturalist. So just before break, I was letting everybody know about our Burleigh County 4-H Achievement Days. Again, those dates are July 7th through the 10th, beginning on Tuesday, we will have our Static Achievement Day, where all our 4-H youth will come and get their 4-H projects interviewed, judged, and public viewing of those 4-H exhibits will be on the rest of the week, July 8th, 9th, and 10th, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. The following day would be our Small Animal Achievement Day. That's going to be July 8th. That's Wednesday evening. That's where we're going to have all those participants that have rabbits, dogs, cats, and even some other pets come in and have their animal projects judged. And I even hear that we have a snake coming to our Small Animal Achievement Day. So I'm okay
in a cage.
with snake. Yes, of course.
Okay,
all these
that's
animals
good.
are going to be encaged or on leashes.
Sounds good.
You know, all the gals in our office, they're a little worried or concerned about the snake. I'm not so much. I'm okay with their
I'm not
snakes.
a snake guy myself.
So, you know, I welcome this
It's
snake
not poisonous, though, is it?
No,
Okay.
not at all. So this young man has a snake, and he's pretty excited to be bringing it here to our Small Animal Day. And then the following day, which is Thursday, July 9th, that is our actual Livestock Achievement Day. So that's where all of our youth that participate in the livestock projects will bring their animals in, and we will have the show starting at 9:30. And so all those animals consist of pigs, beef cattle, sheep, and swine. So that's what we have on the day of July 9th. We will have a kitty lead that will be put on by the Livestock Committee from Burleigh County, and that is really just encouraging young kids to get out there and work with animals and participate and kind of go through a little mock show, so those kids can kind of learn what a livestock project entails and all of that. So that starts at 4 p.m. We also have a barbecue social that we will begin at 4 p.m., followed up by our livestock premium sale starting at 5 p.m. And so that's going to be a very long and busy day, but we invite everyone to come out and participate. Rounding up our achievement days on Friday, July 10th, will be our Horse Achievement Day. And that day, the show for the horses will begin at 9 a.m. And there will be several different classes along with showmanship, English and Western riding events throughout the day. And so that's going to be another long and busy day. And there is also an open 4-H show along with that. And so any 4-H'er that is looking to still qualify for state fair, you are invited or encouraged to come and participate at our open horse show Friday, July 10th, starting at 9 a.m. And again, all of our events are free and open to the public, and any exhibits, those 4-H exhibits we will have in our 4-H building will be on display. So it's kind of cool to come out and see what these youth are doing at home and what type of woodworking projects or any type of project that they're working on throughout the year. So it's a pretty good time, and I invite everyone to attend.
Well, I think a lot of people go to the state fair just to look at the animals in the barns and stuff. Mm-hmm. And so here you are right here in Burleigh County. You can come out and you look at all these kind of animals, like snakes, but also rabbits and you can see dairy cattle and beef cattle. You can see horses right up in front of you, and it's right here in Bismarck. It's there, convenient for you, and even you got a social there for some food, Yep. And it's all open to the public. It's all free. It's all open to the public.
Yeah.
Good to show the kids, get them firsthand, see what a dairy cow really looks like, see where their milk comes from.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And it's a really good opportunity for our 4-H'ers to showcase the projects that they work on and kind of just, get some hype or highlight it a little bit on that project.
They do a lot of work on those animals
all year round. So it's going to be a great event, and we really encourage everybody to attend. And we will actually have, I'm I'm an ice cream lover. I don't know if everybody knows that. I have a really big sweet tooth, and so we will actually be having an ice cream social.
Ice cream?
That will be free. That will be that'll be July 8th in the evening for our Small Animal Day. And so Cass Clay graciously donated some ice cream for that event. And so, if you want an ice cream treat, come on out.
2 weeks from today, free ice cream. What time's that?
That'll be at 6 p.m.
6 p.m.
Yep.
And then you go have your ice cream, and then you can go look at some animals.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yep. We will have
free
dogs, cats, and rabbits on hand, and of course that snake will be there too.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, that sounds okay. What else do you want? That's a great thing for the kids.
Yeah, so that's going to be a great event. Yeah, July 7th through the 10th, our Burleigh County 4-H Achievement Days. So something that both Kelsey, as I spoke about before, our summer intern, we've been very busy with house calls and working with different members in the community, and of course with the weather that went through, a lot of the questions were directed or related to tree damage. And been looking at some trees out there for people. Before that wind all came through, we were seeing a lot of, with those ash trees, we were seeing a lot of anthracnosis.
Oh, really?
And so, just kind of being aware if you're seeing, some leaves with some almost black or brown spotting, that could be anthracnosis if you have an ash tree. And the other thing is when
nothing to worry about though, really.
Yeah.
Because when you see those like brown spots on an ash tree leaf, the leaf is still functional. There's still lots of green tissue there, and anthracnosis is a problem we get. It's pretty common. Almost every other year we get it. Whenever the weather is moist in the spring, when the leaves are popping open, they're susceptible to that fungus, and really, you're going to get some premature leaf drop maybe. Just rake up underneath the tree. It's all you have to do. And trees under minimal stress. Just almost as harmless as can be. Just I always tell people when it's a leaf disease, just take a few steps back. Take a deep breath. Take a few steps back and look at the tree. And what you see is green. And there is like 90% or more of that green canopy. Lots of food being produced for that tree, and trees it's just going to be just fine. and there's not much you can do about it anyhow, because the fungicides that you use, they only can use as to prevent further infection, and it's impossible to get good coverage of a fungicide on a big tree. So the tree's under minimal stress. So you're under more stress than the tree is. My goodness sakes, just take a step back. Tree's gonna be fine. Just get out the rake when the leaves drop, and just go play with your kids or do something else. Don't worry about it. Tree's not worried about it, so don't you worry about it.
Yep. And I guess some other trees that we've been looking at are, we had a couple of calls on some spruce trees. And, if you're starting to see almost some white seepage coming on the bark or something, more than likely you have a canker or a sore somewhere. And, a canker can almost look like an open wound, on a tree. And, really getting those pruned out and getting that, away, because those areas that have cankers are very susceptible to some diseases and such. Yeah. And so pruning that out is probably your best, your best control option at this point.
Yeah, if you see dieback of a spruce, the whiteness on a trunk of a spruce tree, that's just an indication there's a leak somewhere, a wound somewhere, and that wounds can be caused by lots of different things. But it's very common to see some dying back of the lower limbs of a spruce tree, and if you do see dead branches, it's a good idea to get that dead branch out of there, because it just invites more diseases and such. But I always tell people, Ashley, people just have to you can't expect a spruce tree to look perfect forever. It's once a tree hits 25 in a urban landscape, it's it's over the hill for a lot of cases. It's impossible. So you just got to be realistic, and I don't know, not many of us were as good looking now as we were when we were 25. We kind of lose it a little bit, and same with spruce trees. So just, don't worry too much about it, but take out dead wood whenever possible.
All right. With that, we are going to be taking a break, and we will be right back with the Burleigh County Extension Connection.
Currently, it's 70.
Get the traffic and weather information you need anytime on Super Talk 1270 and online at supertalk1270.com.
Welcome back to the Extension Connection. Today you have the Burleigh County Extension staff visiting with you. My name is Ashley Stegman, the Ag and Natural Resource Agent, and also we have Tom Kelb, our state horticulturalist. We are live in the studio, and so if you do have any questions, you can sure call in 663-1270. So Tom, I have a few questions regarding garden.
We should have rehearsed this.
Well, my husband, we've talked about this before. He's pretty. He cares about the lawn and the garden and how it all looks and everything. A little too much, in my opinion. But we've got our tomatoes, and we keep on. There's so much green growth on them. I worry if it's going to be too much. If they're not going to set blossom.
Really?
Is it okay to cut some of it? Just patience, you say?
Well, okay. First of all, it depends on the type of tomato it is.
Okay.
Do you know the variety by any chance?
Best Boy, Jetstar. Jetstar is one of them, and then the other one's a Best Boy or something.
Okay, or Better Boy.
Better Boy, that's it.
All right. Some of the tomato varieties, they are indeterminate vines, and so they do produce a lot of vine tissue. If you look carefully at your tomato vine, you'll look at the base of every leaf that connects to the trunk of the vine. You'll see a little sucker coming up. Mm-hmm. And so if you really feel like your plants are getting a little too bushy, one thing is you can do is you can pinch off the suckers. Those little sprouts that are right there at the base of the leaf. And so that will open up it a lot. Also, I don't know, do you got cages on the plants or staking yet?
I do, yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's good. That supports the vines and gets them off the ground, so the vines will be healthier that way. Do you got cages or stakes? Which one?
I've got both.
Okay.
So I'm kind of doing an experiment, seeing
there
which
you
one
go.
works
See which
better.
one works better. There you go.
I really wanted to
each have their advantages.
My husband wanted to do cages because he's old school. That's how they did them. And I would rather just do a stake.
You want to do a stake, huh?
So we compromised.
Okay, try them both. Okay, there you go. That's the way to do it. The reason why I ask is if you just have a single stake per plant, usually you prune the plant so it just has one vine per plant, and so then you have to get aggressive taking out all those suckers that are keeping them to come out, and so you should be on that right now.
Okay.
And it's still, it depends on the maturity of the plant. It's not surprising that they haven't blossomed yet. You got to be a little patient. It's coming definitely soon though. If you use cages, often we're a little bit more easygoing as far as the pruning. You don't have to be so aggressive with the sucker removal. Sometimes people will prune to have 2 vines per trunk, and so you'll have the main vine that comes out, and then what you also see is once you start seeing the first flower cluster, right below the first flower cluster is a strong vine, and so we use that sucker as our second vine to the plant. And so we have the main vine and then also the vine that comes right below the first flower cluster. So that's your attention. You look for that flower cluster or the first fruiting cluster, and then you look at that vine. Usually right below there's a very strong vine. So that'll be our second vine. But after that, you prune off the rest of the suckers.
Okay.
So that's, now if, a lot of times what we do is a lot of gardeners prefer the less vigorous plants, the determinate types, and like Celebrity is a common variety of that, or the Mountain Fresh Plus is a semi-determinate. And we don't have to be aggressive pruning them at all, or even like Celebrity, you don't have to prune them out, or like Roma is a very common canning type. You don't have to prune them at all. And so that's really low maintenance, and that's what I prefer, actually. I'm kind of easy going on that. But
I've got the Romas, too.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see how that goes. If you can't grow a Roma, we have to take you to Remedial Tomato 101 to handle that.
My Romas are fine.
Oh, okay, so that's in good shape. So you don't have to prune them at all. That's easy. And a lot of people don't even stake them or anything. They just let them because they're not aggressive at all in their vines. So, but you can start clipping off suckers. You want to take suckers off when they're young, before they're 4 inches long. So the sooner you take, and you just pinch them off with your thumb and forefinger. You don't have to get out there with your surgical gown and get out there with their knives and stuff. Just pinch them off, and then it's just no worries about that. But if people who really love their gardens, maybe like your husband a little bit, maybe he loves them a little too much. If you do over fertilize, too much nitrogen especially, you can create a lot of leaves.
Okay.
And that will actually inhibit flowering. So you get the biggest bush, in the neighborhood, but not too many tomatoes. So then you just got to cool it on the fertilizer. Just let it go. And actually, I generally don't recommend fertilizer until after the first fruit set.
Okay.
So, because you want the plant to go into fruit, and so what you do is you get the fertilizer to get it started, but then after that you just kind of cool it on the fertilizer, and you wait till the plant gets mature, sets its first fruit, and then the whole mindset of the tomato vines changed. It says, okay, now I'm an adult now. I'm going to have offspring, and so then you can start fertilizing it, and then because they'll be hungry, they'll be looking for it when that first fruit set happens too. So look for that.
All right, great. Now another thing I've been seeing, and my husband doesn't want to admit to it, but I think he had some herbicide drift. And I told him that's not good. So what do you say?
Yeah, of course, herbicides drift is a disaster. It's the most common question I'm getting across the state right now, especially on tomatoes and potatoes. A lot of potatoes showing this symptom. You see the curling of the leaves, or the leaves get all stretched out. Plant doesn't look right. The plant may be especially leathery. But you see those twisted vines, and that's a disaster. And that comes from the use of lawn herbicides. Usually, it's lawn herbicide drift happening, and that's it causes unusual growth. And sometimes plants can outgrow it. However, a lot of times, in most situations, what happens is the tomato vine will get extremely curled, twisted, and it won't be productive at all. So it's pretty much you've lost the crop. And with potatoes, often we've lost the crop if we see that significant leaf curl. That's a big problem. So my comment here is, for goodness sakes, there's no need to be spraying lawn herbicides this time of year. And if you got a lawn care service, you should not be having a lawn herbicide applied at this time. Now is not an effective time to control weeds. You should wait until September. You get a much better kill, and then you won't be exposing yourself to drift, because that drift can make the tomatoes or potatoes and all your garden plants exposed to this, can make it really debatable. We can't guarantee the safety of that produce, and so please just lay off the lawn herbicides now and just wait until September. And if you see the problem, it's there. It's in the system of the plant. You can't wash off the chemical. It's absorbed into the plant. And that's it. You lost it. And it's really just super sad news. So be careful using lawn herbicides or any herbicide this time of year. Just don't do it now. The other thing, Ashley, it's really a concern that's building up is that contaminated manure is causing problems, because some gardeners swear that, hey, I promise you, there's been no herbicide sprayed. I like dandelions. I don't spray anything, but they still get this curling and twisting, and that's because the farmer sprayed the pasture for weeds, and then the cows ate the hay or they grazed on the pasture, and then the manure from that animal, from the livestock, has that herbicide in it. The herbicide that the animal ate just passed right through the system of the animal and right out into the manure. And so it's just like, you're spraying the manure with the herbicide. It's almost as simple as that. Almost none of the herbicide is absorbed by the animal. And so contaminated manure is a major problem now that we're starting to see. And it's the sad thing about it is that herbicide can persist for a few years in the garden. And so if you see tomato or potato vines that are curling. And beans and peas are also very sensitive to this. If you see unusual curling and you know there's been no herbicide sprayed, you have to, the consideration is, did I add any manure or rotted compost from a source I'm not sure about? And if you do get manure from a farmer, that's great, because organic matter is the best thing you can add to a garden. It's the best thing. But you got to be sure that farm family does not use persistent herbicides in their feed or in their pastures, because otherwise we can have years of trouble. That herbicide just stays there, and if you see that problem, it's really, you can start weeping right then. But then you want to see about what can I do about it. And all you can do is monitor for the presence of that herbicide. And the way we monitor for it is you just keep planting beans and peas, little short rows of beans and peas in your garden. And as long as they keep suffering, that herbicide's still active. So again, there are a lot of chemicals in gardening now. Be careful about it. And so that's the biggest problem. And also, we've seen herbicide injury on trees too. Look out for that. But usually trees can tolerate it. A woody plant can tolerate it, whether it's Roundup or lawn herbicide. Trees that get curled up leaves, they can tolerate it. If you see curled leaves, also you want to look for bugs. Sometimes bugs cause the curling of the leaves. Just pry open that leaf and look for bugs. If it's bugs like aphids, you'll see them in the hundreds in there. But again, it's a tree, and trees can tolerate bugs. My Lord, they've tolerated bugs since the first day of their life, and they can tolerate it tomorrow. So don't think you got to get out the spray tank again and start shooting out with insecticides. The tree can tolerate it, and actually the bugs inside the leaves are so hard to get contact with the insecticide anyhow. So just take it easy on that. But again, be careful about using chemicals. They're a great tool, but you got to use them wisely. Avoid windy days. If you spray, use a heavy droplet, and try to minimize drift as much as possible. Try to tolerate a few weeds. It's okay.
All right.
Go.
With that, I think Jim is giving
Jim's
us
got
the
the
nod
music
that we are ready to wrap up. And so thank you for listening to the Burleigh County Extension Connection, and we will be back in 2 weeks.